Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is July 22nd. Houston is back at the top of the AL West for the first time this year. We gotta talk about it. Let's do it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today? It is Monday, the start of a new week, and in the baseball world, it's going to be a pretty big week here, pretty big 10 days for our trade deadline. Which teams will buy, which teams will sell. The NL wild card is an absolute mess, and any one of those teams could be buyers or sellers, depending on how they feel and how they like their chances for the remaining 2 months of the season. That's right, we're pretty much at the end of July here, which just means August and September remain before the postseason. The baseball season is in its second half. All great things here. So with that all being said, let's dive on into the first series recap of the second half. All right, leading things off here, we have the Rays and the Yankees in New York for 4, but we only have 3 so far. The Yankees took the first game 6-1. But then Tampa came all the way back for game 2, 9-1 Rays there. 2-homer day for Randy Arozarena before taking the third game. 6-4. The Rays currently have a 2-1 lead entering today's game on Monday. Tigers and Blue Jays. The Tigers came out roaring into the second half, taking the first 2 games of the series, beating the Blue Jays 5-4 on Friday and then 7-3 Saturday. But the Blue Jays avoided the sweep on Sunday. They get themselves a win, their first win of the second half. It's 5-4 Blue Jays there. White Sox and Royals. Kansas City currently battling the Red Sox for that third wild card spot, and they have a favorable opponent in the White Sox, and they take care of business. 7-1, 6-1, and 4-1. The Kansas City Royals sweep the White Sox. That is big for them in the standings for sure. The Brewers and the Twins played 2, and the Brewers took both of them. A little 2-game set sweep for the Brewers, 8-4 and then 8-7. Brewers with those 16 runs, they are still atop the NL Central. Padres and Guardians. The Guardians, big first game, 7-0 there. But then the Padres said that looked like fun, so they then win it 7-0. And then in the rubber match, Padres take it 2-1 the final, and they take 2 of 3 from the Guardians. Oilers and Rangers, a little ALDS rematch of the last postseason. Baltimore, the better team here now, and they're taking the first 2 games of this set, beating them 9-1 and 8-4. But Texas would avoid the sweep. They get the last game, beat Baltimore 3-2. Angels and A's. It's your Oakland Athletics with another double-digit performance. They beat the Angels 13-3. Jacob Wilson, his MLB debut in this one. His first at-bat is his first hit, but then he pulls a hammy. He's removed with an injury, and that's unfortunate. But hey, he's 1 for 1, and that's all you have to do right now. Hopefully he is able to return quickly for the A's, who also won the second game of this series as they beat the Angels 8-2, but the Angels avoided the sweep and get the final win, 8-5, the final there. Astros and Mariners. This was a huge series in the standings, and it starts with a Houston win as they beat Seattle 3-0. They have now tied the Mariners for first place in the AL West. The winner of the second game would have the lead, and it is the Houston Astros. They beat them 4-2, and it's the first time the Astros have led the AL West this season. Can Seattle respond in the third game, or do they get swept? They respond 6-4. Yordan Alvarez with a cycle of all odds. Julio had to leave this game with an injury, so not all great news for Seattle, but they are both now tied for first place in the AL West. The Astros take 2 of 3 in Seattle. Mets and Marlins, Jeff McNeil a 2-homer day to start the second half, but the Marlins would hold on and win the first game 6-4. Then off a nice start of Luis Severino, the Mets take the second game 1-0. Rubber match goes Miami's way 4-2, not even, because they have a fourth game playing today, so that will have to be talked about for Friday. As of now, the Marlins have a 2-3, take 2 of 3 from the Mets there. Reds and Nationals, not the way Cincy want to come back to the second half. It was all Washington this series, 8-5 in the first game, 5-4 in the second game, and then 5-2 in the third game. The Washington Nationals, can they make any late noise in the second half? They sweep the Reds, take the 3 games there, and will look to their next opponent. Cardinals and Braves, we would have a rain delay on Friday, so that's a doubleheader Saturday. It would start with the Braves win, a walk-off sac fly from Ozzie Albies, 3-2 Braves, your final. But then on the other game that day, the Cardinals came out, they win it big, 9-5, your final. And then the rubber match goes the Cardinals' way, 6-2, as the St. Louis Redbirds take 2 of 3 from the Braves. And the Braves, oh boy, things are looking a little bit tougher as of late. Phillies and Pirates, the poop series. We all love to see it. What a way to start it off. Pirates scored 2 runs in the 9th late to walk it off. A wild first game as they beat the Phillies 8-7. Second game was even better for the Pirates as they win it 4-1. Going back to the first half, they are on a 6-game winning streak. Your Pittsburgh Pirates making moves in the NL wildcard standings, but they do not make it 7 as the Phillies avoid the sweep and get a game against the Pirates. They win it 6-0, your final there. D-backs and Cubs. D-backs take the first 2 games of this set. Arizona looking good, looking to compete. They win it 5-2 and 3-0. Cubs answer back on Sunday with a 2-1 win to avoid the sweep, but the D-backs do take 2 of 3 there. Giants and Rockies. This is not the way the Giants want to come back in. The Rockies took the first 2 games 7-3 and 4-3, outscoring the Giants 11-6. Giants, though, come back in the third game to win it and avoid the sweep. Jorge Soler hits the furthest home run of the year so far at 478 feet. Rockies take 2 of 3, but Giants win that game 3-2. And lastly, here we have the Red Sox and the Dodgers. It was looking good. Jarren Duran, a home run, coming off his All-Star Game MVP. But Freddie Freeman, a grand slam, a go-ahead grand slam. Dodgers take the first game 4-1. Then we had a really fun and exciting game 2. Tyler O'Neill hits 2 home runs in this game, one of which in extra innings. But the Dodgers get the last laugh in the 11th. Will Smith, the walk-off single. Dodgers win it 7-6. And for the final game, the Dodgers said, hey, we like sweeps, so we'll do that, as they take it 9-6. Your final, Dodgers sweep the Red Sox and win all 3 games of the series. A great first weekend back in baseball, and now we have our game of the weekend here. The Dodgers and Red Sox played a great game Saturday, but the Pirates and Phillies played a really fun one on Friday to start the series off, to start the second half off. It's the poop series, but it didn't stay that way for long. Nick Castellanos doubles in the first, turned the P00P into the P20P, 2-0 there, and then Weston Wilson would single a run in, so a 3-run first for the Phillies, had them up early, but it lasted not even an inning. The Pirates come back in the bottom of the first. O'Neill Cruz doubles in a run, Nick Gonzalez a ground out, scores a run, and then Rowdy Tellez a sac fly. Pirates get all 3 runs back, tie it up, and it's a brand new ball game until Weston Wilson in the top of the third hits his first home run of the season. Phillies take a 4-3 lead. Bottom 3 though, Rowdy Tellez a sac fly. The Phillies cannot hold a lead, but in the 4th, Trey Turner, he is hot as ever. His 12th home run of the year, a 2-run shot, gives Phillies the lead. Then in the top of the 5th, Kyle Schwarber a sac fly. It's a 3-run lead for the Phillies. That would take us to the bottom of the 7th, where O'Neal Cruz would single in a run to make it 7-5, and then a sac fly double play here from Rowdy Tellez's third sac fly of the game. That would make it 7-6 and also end the inning. So the Phillies had a 1-run lead now heading into the bottom of the 9th, but it's O'Neal Cruz and a fielder's choice by Edmundo Sosa allows Michael A. Taylor to score. McCutcheon goes to third on the play, and Nick Gonzalez drives him on in a single there, wins it for the Pirates, 2 runs in the 9th, and a wild walk-off for Pittsburgh as they beat the Phillies 8-7, and was their 5th straight win. They made it 6 on Saturday before the loss, as mentioned, and that is your game of the weekend. All right, now to the baseball news we go, and we're going to start with Whit Merrifield here, as he has been signed by the Braves. He was cut from the Phillies and now goes to the division rival team chasing the Phillies in the Braves. Of course, Whit hasn't had the season that he had been hoping for with Philly. In 53 games, 31 hits, a 199 batting average, and a 572 OPS. Really poor numbers on the year. Of course, not getting full playing time, but it's been pretty unfortunate for Whit as of late. Of course, the Braves needed to do this move because, as we'll mention in the injury updates, Ozzie Albies, he walked off one of the games with the sac fly. He got hurt on Sunday, a major wrist injury, fracture that is going to keep him out for 8 weeks. And that's just another blow to the Braves and their injuries that have turned their season kind of upside down. Spencer Strider, Ronald Acuna, now Ozzie Albies. And, you have to feel for the Braves a little bit here, but you have to also wonder, what's the plan here? Is Ozzie going to be playing, is Whit going to be playing second base daily now for the Braves? They're going to try to tap into his, Kansas City kind of Blue Jay form. But also, I believe, calling up one of their young prospects to, also play second baseman, so probably platoon them, maybe have Whit kind of do a leadership thing. It will be interesting to see. Maybe Whit can turn his numbers around and be the everyday second baseman for the Braves. But I always, we mentioned Whit a lot. I believe even last week we were talking about how he was cut from the Phillies. So I'm not going to talk about too much of his numbers here. It's more of a, update you. Here he is. He was with the Phillies. Now he's with the Braves. And, it's going to be really bummer for the Phillies when Whit starts playing out of his mind and going 4 for 4 in 3 straight nights. Who knows? But Whit Merrifield, now an Atlanta Brave. Speaking of playing for the Braves, no, speaking of being released, Phillies release Whit Merrifield, White Sox release Martin Maldonado. The 2022 World Series champ and Gold Glove catcher has been cut from the White Sox. We know that his hitting numbers aren't all that, but when you're this bad at hitting, it's not worth having you man a pitching staff when your team is that bad. Anyways, in 48 games, the 37-year-old had 16 hits. That was good for a batting average of 119. He did have 4 home runs. His OPS very low at 403. So yeah, really tough year for Martin Maldonado, and probably the end of his career, if we're being honest here. I don't know how any other team would see these numbers and say, yeah, he still got it. Probably not. But I do not think he'll be away from baseball for too long. If this was the last time seeing him on the baseball field as a player, I think he's going to make a great manager one day for a team. The same way kind of guys like Stephen Vo has done it with the Guardians this year. The same way the Cubs tried it with David Ross when he kind of, he retired in 2016. Gave him a couple years before getting the chance to. And after 2 seasons said, we like Craig Counsell better. But regardless, I feel like Martin Maldonado is going to make a great manager. Catchers tend to have that effect when they become managers. I mean, Stephen Vo has done an amazing job for the Guardians this year. In my mind, could be manager of the year. But Martin Maldonado, currently cut from the White Sox. We'll see if anyone does decide to pick him up for the rest of this season. Maybe a backup catcher. for a postseason team, give him a second ring, but I do highly doubt that. So something to keep eyes and ears out for as we head into the end of July here. Superstars updates. We've got a couple of big names set to return, a couple of LA kids, a couple of stars from the 2010s. Mike Trout and Clayton Kershaw from your Dodgers and Angels. They're set to return, or at least set to be coming back with their teams. Dave Roberts said that Clayton Kershaw is going to be returning and set to start Thursday's game. So that's very exciting, as Kershaw will make his season debut. He has not played so far this season, but he is set to be at home against the Giants on Thursday and make his season debut. Mike Trout, on the other end, he is on a rehab assignment starting today, I believe, with the AAA team. And if all things go according to plan, if Mike Trout is healthy and is playing well, he is also set to return for Thursday's game against Oakland, I believe, at home. And that is, of course, if things all go according to plan here. So Kershaw, for sure, will be back Thursday. Mike Trout, possibly back Thursday. If not, I believe some point this week. But I feel like by this time next week, so give it a week even, he should hopefully be back if he is healthy and good to go. But that's great news for the Dodgers to get Kershaw back, get a piece of that rotation. And of course, for the Angels and MLB, marketing Mike Trout is the only thing they have right now, because the Angels are so far in the basement that Mike Trout's, couldn't do anything for the team either way. It's a shame to see Mike Trout injured all the time these last couple of years, because he's one of the best and could still be that best, and I want to see him get that chance to prove that. But he needs to stay healthy and on the field in order to do that. But yeah, that's what we got on those two guys and the updates there. As we'll look into some other news here really quickly. Speaking of the Angels, Johnny Cueto has signed a minor league deal with them. That could be fun. Angels are going to trade away Tyler Anderson and probably a couple other guys throughout this week, and they're going to need guys to get through the rest of the season. Johnny Cueto could be one of them. He's probably going to get a couple of games in AAA just to see if he still has some form, and hopefully we'll get to see him up with the Angels. And then the Hall of Fame ceremony happened this past weekend here. So we knew the guys elected, but it is official. Jim Leyland, Adrian Beltre, Joe Mauer, and Todd Helton have officially received their plaques. They gave their speeches, and they have been entered into the Hall of Fame. So congrats to all four of those guys. Twins legend, Rockies legend, Rangers legend, I guess. I always forget seeing Adrian Beltre's career path, because I remember him with the Dodgers. I remember him a little bit with the Red Sox. Obviously, I remember him, as most people probably do, from the Rangers. I forgot that he played for Seattle. I saw that in a post on social media, and I'm like, yeah, I guess he did technically play for Seattle. But yeah, 4 teams for Beltre, and 4 of them will find their way into Cooperstown, so congrats to all of them. All right, now I don't remember if I did this last year, but because we have this, week, 10-day stretch here before the trade deadline, I'm going to bring back some trade rumors, little things to talk about, things that I'm seeing that I believe are real things to mention and to keep an eye out for if you're fans of these teams. So we got a couple things I just want to mention here, sprinkle it in here. The first one, a little bit minor. The Red Sox and the Yankees have talked to the Cubs about Jameson Taillon. Now, this is interesting for a couple of reasons. The first being the Cubs, being sellers. Their team is good. They have good pieces, young pieces. I don't expect them to be hardcore sellers at this deadline. They're 48 and 53 and only 3.5 back of the wild card. The issue is they're behind teams like the Giants, Pirates, Padres, Diamondbacks, and Mets. So there are 5 teams still ahead of them, and they're only half a game up on the Reds and Nationals. So it's very close and intense stuff there. But of course, the Cubs have that, 3.5, further gap to the wild card rather than other teams here. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of their, 1-year guys, even some of their veteran guys, do get moved and shipped, but I don't expect any of that young core guys like Christopher Morel, to get moved. I find it interesting that the Yankees are interested in Jameson Taillon because the Yankees had him for 2 seasons back in 2021 and 2022, and he pitched okay, I guess. A 4.3 ERA in 2021 and a 3.91 ERA in 2022. He was pretty good that year in terms of his win-loss record, 14-5 for them, and made all 32 starts. So, the Yankees have had him before and have done well with him before, but I don't know how Yankees fans feel about him. If you're a Yankees fan, let me know in the comments. But yeah, Red Sox and Yankees talking to the Cubs. We'll see what that leads to. But the bigger news in my mind of things that I'm seeing a lot of, Tarik Skubal has drawn huge amounts of interest from both the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Baltimore Orioles. Now, Tarik Skubal, let me tell you, I thought could have been the, 2 to the Casey Mize 1 once upon a time. That is no longer the case. This guy is the one. He is a superstar. He was an all-star for the first time in his career this year. And if you look at his baseball reference, since debuting in 2020 during the COVID year, he has gotten better and better each year he's played. Of course, dealt with some injuries last year, but still, his ERA just continues to drop. 5.63, 4.34, 3.52, 2.8, and is now this year at a 2.41 ERA, 10-3 on the season. One of, if not the brightest spots about the Detroit Tigers this year. Now, the Tigers obviously, have a lot of players, young players. I had them winning the division this year. Like they could have been on that pace and on that roll had their kids developed, had Riley Green continued, had Spencer Torkelson, stepped it up, Colton Keith. But, they're slowly going to start running out of time. The big thing that makes this such an interesting proposition, if the Tigers do end up moving Skubal, is that this is only his first year of arbitration. He still has 2 more seasons to go of team control. He's set to be a free agent in 2027. So if one of those teams like Baltimore or the Dodgers do end up trading for Skubal, not only are they going to have them for the rest of this season, but also 2025 and 2026. Now, with Baltimore, they obviously have a slew of prospects to make this work. But of course, I thought guys like potentially Jackson Holliday would have a better trade value with the White Sox, and you can get a lot of different pieces like Michael Kopech, Garrett Crochet, or Luis Robert Jr. Now, Cedric Mullins hasn't been the Cedric Mullins we've seen from Baltimore in the past, but if Baltimore went to go talk to the White Sox, not only would they be able to get Garrett Crochet, but also Luis Robert in center field, and that would be a huge upgrade to Baltimore's team here. I think season-to-season wise, Skubal versus Crochet makes a very interesting debate. Both lefties, both hard throwing, both having great years. I think this year Garrett Crochet is the better pitcher to have right now. I think his ERA is boosted and hit harder just because he's on the White Sox and has had a little bit more of an uncomfortable year, and it's an uncomfortable environment to be in, playing at, I believe it's guaranteed rate. That might not be the right ballpark name. The White Sox home power park. But yeah, his numbers been great. In 20 starts, he's 6-6, so obviously not as good as Skubal's in that regards. But a 3.02 ERA. He has 150 strikeouts, leading the AL. Of course, was an All-Star for the first time this year as well. So Skubal and Crochet are on very similar paths right now. If I was Baltimore, I think I would be going more for the the White Sox, and trying to get Crochet plus either Kopech for the bullpen to help out with Kimbrel, maybe Luis Robert Jr. for center field, and that way Cedric gets a little bit of the weight of his struggles off of his shoulder. But two very interesting things right there. Skubal gets moved would be interesting though as well, because the Tigers, like I said, aren't really that bad. They're on the right path to success. They're only 2 games back of 500. Of course, teams like the Twins, Royals, and Guardians have taken huge steps up this year. But I think, have your guys be right. If Spencer Torkelson got off to a really hot start, Riley Green's been great. If Colt Keith was a little bit better, among other guys in that roster, the Tigers aren't far out, I think. And I think trading away Skubal would hurt them in the long run here, depending on the prospects they get back. It'll be interesting to see what Detroit ends up doing with Skubal. I don't know if he gets moved or not at this deadline. So unless Baltimore has a huge offer for them, I think Skubal might end up staying with Tigers. But we'll have to wait and see for the deadline. All right, with those rumors being out of the way, let's dive into the hot and colds from the first 3 games here, I guess. I didn't plan that out correctly, but regardless of the fact, we'll go over who was the best this weekend. And the best was Bobby Whit Jr. from the Royals, 9 for 11, a home run, 3 RBIs, 4 runs, a walk, no strikeouts, a 2.015 OPS. Very skewed numbers, but a great weekend from Bobby Whit. Jarren Duran from the Red Sox, 6 for 12, 3 doubles, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, and 5 runs, a 1.821 OPS for himself. Randy Arozarena, a hot week in the Bronx, 6 for 13, 2 doubles, 3 home runs, 4 RBIs, 3 runs, a 1.770 OPS. Lawrence Butler continues to look better and better for Oakland. 7 for 11, 2 doubles, a triple, 5 RBIs, 3 runs, a 1.714 OPS for himself. And then George Springer with the Blue Jays, he's getting hot. 5 for 12, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, 4 runs, a 1.643 OPS. Springer has been a lot better as of late than the first 2 months of the season. For the cold side of players here, Pete Crow Armstrong for your Cubs, 0 for 11 with 3 Ks. Matt Olson from the Braves, 0 for 12 with 2 Ks. Alex Verdugo from the Yankees, 0 for 11 with 2 Ks. Josh Smith from your Rangers, 0 for 11, 5 strikeouts. And then Brandon Nimmo from the Mets, 1 for 11 with 7 Ks. Not great for those 5 there, and hopefully they'll be able to get hotter this week. As we take a look now at the injury updates from the weekend here, and a couple, from the All-Star break and when things were getting announced here. Ozzy Albies, we mentioned the big one here. He's fractured his wrist and is set to miss 8 weeks. With the Braves there. Jacob Wilson, he has a strained hamstring after getting his first MLB hit in his first at-bat. Unfortunate there, but he will miss some time. Bo Bichette continues to have a very frustrating 2024 between playing awfully and playing on the IL. He has a strained calf and makes his way back on the IL for, I believe, the 3rd time this season already. Ryan Pepio, a knee infection for him and the Rays. He goes on the IL. Carlos Correa, a plantar fasciitis. Doctors in the chat, let me know what that one is. Max Fried, elbow nituris. These are 2 injuries I don't really know much of, but they were there, so I wrote them down. But doctors, help me out with that one. I'll do some Googling this week. Reese Olson from the Tigers, a strained shoulder. And then Julio, as mentioned, he left the game yesterday after crashing into the wall. It is listed right now as a right leg injury. Not sure if he will miss some time or not, but throwing that out there as well. As we'll now take a look at the outstanding performances from the weekend here, and there was a lot of them. Starting off with Patrick Corbin. Yes, that's right. Patrick Corbin in 2024, not 2019, 2024. Patrick Corbin, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, an earned run, no walks, and 6 Ks. Garrett Cole with your Yankees, 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. Michael Wacha, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 7 Ks. Nick Pivetta, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 8 Ks. That's against the Dodgers. Impressive stuff there. Taj Bradley, 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 5 Ks. That was against the Yankees. 1 hit. Taj Bradley threw 7. Good job there. Luis Severino, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, and 7 Ks. Luis Ortiz from the Pirates, 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 2 Ks. Brady Singer, 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 7 Ks. Freddie Peralta, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 8 Ks. Dylan Cease, back-to-back starts of 2 hits or less and 10 plus Ks. He goes 7 innings pitched, a hit, no earned runs, a walk, and 10 strikeouts. George Kirby, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, an earned run, no walks, and 6 Ks. Michael King, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 6 Ks. Shota Emenaga, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 10 strikeouts for him. Brandon Pfaadt, 7 innings pitched, a hit, no earned runs, a walk, and 7 Ks. Hayden Birdsong with the Giants in his 5th start, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 12 strikeouts for the kid. Impressive stuff there. And even more impressive, Seth Lugo at his ripe age in the mid-30s, his first ever complete game. 9 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, and 6 Ks. The big reason why the Royals were swept the White Sox this weekend is because of Michael Wacha, Brady Singer, and Seth Lugo. 3 outstanding starts from their starting pitchers, and that is your outstanding performances. Alrighty, now let's take a look at the standings check here. AL East, Baltimore 60-39. They're 2 games up on the Yankees, who are 59-42, and 6.5 up on the Red Sox at 53-45. Your AL Central has the Guardians still in first, 59-39. And they're 5 games up on both the Twins and the Royals. The Royals, after sweeping the White Sox, 7-3 in their last 10, 55-45. The Twins at 54-44. So the Royals have played 2 more games than the Twins, have won 1 and lost 1. So they are technically third in the division. Twins, 5 games back. Can the Guardians hold back these 2 teams? They're chasing their tails. The AL West, it's a tie at the top. Houston Astros, Seattle Mariners tied currently, but they give it to the Astros because Seattle's played 2 more games, have won 1 and lost 1. Astros 52-47, Mariners 53-48. The 2 of them technically tied. Astros have the lead though. Rangers 5 games back of the division there. Can they make a late chase in the second half? Your NL East has your Phillies atop 63-36, and they are 8.5 up on the Braves, who with the Ozzie injury, it's looking more and more like the Phillies will hold the NL East until the end of the season. The Mets 12.5 back. Not looking good there. NL Central, it's still the Brewers at 57-42. Cardinals 5 games back of them. Pirates 7. So unless the Brewers, start to have a tough second half, it is looking at Milwaukee's way. Can a team catch up though? Your NL West Dodgers are 59-41. D-backs 8 games back. Padres 8 games back. The 2 of them are tied currently, but same as the other 2 times I've mentioned there was ties. The Padres have played 2 more games than the Diamondbacks, have won 1 and lost 1, which means the Diamondbacks are actually in second, Padres in third. Both of them 8 games back of the Dodgers. In the wild card right now, it's the Yankees 3.5 up on the Twins and Royals, who are tied for the second and third seed. Red Sox a game under the line here. They're a game under the Royals/Twins. Seattle 2.5, and then the Rays 4.5. So there is some chasing to go for some of those teams. On the NL side, the Braves are 4 games up on the line. Cardinals a game and a half up on the line. The Mets, D-backs, and Padres are all tied for the final spot. It is right now listed as New York, as they are 50 and 48. Diamondbacks 51 and 49. Padres 52 and 50. So the Padres have played 4 more games than the Mets. But the 3 of them all have the same winning percentage of .510, which means all 3 of them are tied for that final spot, but it does go the Mets' way. Pirates half a game back of that tie. Giants 3 games, Cubs 3.5, Reds and Nationals 4. So it is still anybody's race. Who will buy at the deadline? Who will sell at the deadline? That is your standings check. As we will now take a look at the upcoming games of the week here, the upcoming series to look at for the week, and upcoming series here. So the Rays and Yankees will play their 4th game of their series today. So that's going to be a we'll talk about that first. And the Mets and Marlins will play their 4th game of the series that just happened today as well. Before we get into the new stuff, and it starts with the Subway Series. Mets and Yankees, the New York teams, will face off to start our week. Rays and Blue Jays, Phillies at Twins, D-backs at Royals, Tigers at Guardians, White Sox at Rangers, Astros at A's, Angels at Mariners, Oilers at Marlins, Padres at Nationals, Reds at Braves, Cardinals at Pirates, Brewers at Cubs, Giants at Dodgers, and we'll finish it off with the Red Sox at the Rockies. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for our episode here today. Thank you everybody so much for listening, for tuning in and sticking around. I don't really have much of an outro. Enjoy your week. Go see a game if your team is in town. We love baseball. It's hot. And the deadline looms large. So keep an ear out for that. Keep an ear out for your teams. Will they be buyers or sellers? That is the question that everyone is asking this week. And that is going to do it for me here. Thank you, everybody, so much. And I will see you on Friday.